When we began Metropol Debrief Season 2, we made a vow to bring you conversations that matter to you, news that you can use. It is another episode of Metropol Debrief on the Thursday of this month of October. My name is Indira Ganga. Welcome to our show tonight. We have an amazing guest, and she'll be joining us in the second part of the show. She's Janet Mbogwa. We all know her. She's the project lead for Better for Kenya, and she's also a renowned media personality. Amazing project she has in the pipeline, but also an unstoppable passion towards achieving gender equality in the country. Tonight, where do we start our show? In a country where women and the youth make over 51% of the national population, women are yet to have laws put in place that uphold and promote gender equality, to be it in career or even in the market. The two-thirds gender rule is still on standstill, and so is the hope for fair representation between both genders. Tonight on Metropol Debrief, we unpack gender equality in Kenya and what more can we do to ensure equity. Listening. On the 29th of August 2018, women legislators walked into the National Assembly in solidarity, adorned in white headgear, speaking in one accord, the need to pass the two-thirds gender rule after an 8-year procrastination. The Constitution of Kenya 2010 in Article 27(8) of the Bill of Rights provides that, quote, the state shall take legislative and other measures to implement the principle that not more than two-thirds of members of elective or appointive bodies shall be of the same gender, end of quote. This provision is also reiterated in Article 81B on principles of the electoral system and is commonly referred to as the gender principle. Nominated Member of Parliament Cecily Mbarire, while on the floor, expressed the women's concerns over laxity to pass the two-thirds gender rule, which is a crucial bill to women for their economic empowerment.
We come in peace to let this House and the nation know that it is 8 years, and we are asking, requesting humbly that legislative proposal be considered and passed on this floor.
This plea from female legislators came against the backdrop of President Uhuru Kenyatta's constant calls to uphold gender equality and empower Kenyan women to enable them compete competitively in the market.
I urge all Kenyans to join me in ensuring the implementation of the two-thirds gender principle that is in our Constitution. It is the minimum acceptable level of representation. It is a measure for now.
Adding a voice to the gender equality conversation is Lands Cabinet Secretary Farida Karone, who says the economic trickle-down of women empowerment is evident.
Survey has found that organizations with greater diversity perform far better than those that are rigid or exclusive. Institutions with more women in leadership also fare much better than those that are dominated by men.
While the fate of the two-thirds gender rule hangs in the balance, Kenyan women continue to lag behind their male counterparts. For an economy that is working towards double-digit economic growth on an annual basis, inadequate legislation on fair economic opportunity for both genders will work against this target. That is the state of the nation in terms of gender equality. The two-thirds gender rule is still pending. However, how is the greater region performing? There are countries that have done extremely well, for example, Rwanda. Now, according to data from Women in National Parliaments, Rwanda holds first place on the global landscape with 64% representation of women. Now, they are followed by Bolivia at 53% and Cuba at 49%. What are some of the other African countries that are in this list with Rwanda? Namibia is in that list, and South Africa is equally in that list. Now, in Kenya, the gaps are still a hurdle. According to Brighter Monday Best 100 Companies to Work For in 2019, only 24% of women feel valued at work. This is in contrast to 34% of men who feel valued at work. This is a 10% difference between the two genders. So many women do not feel like they're valued by their employers, and they do not feel like they're being appreciated at work. In relation to this, flight risk by gender, 50% of women are willing to leave their current employer to look for greener pastures. Now, 50% of women are willing to leave, but only about 46% of men are willing to leave, a 4% difference. And this is because women most of the time do not feel valued at work. Now let's take a look at the entry levels at work and see what genders hold what percentage. At 35%, entry level are men, and women are at 42%. So the very basic level of entry at work, women 42%, men 35%. So women form majority of the population at entry level. Let's now move on to mid-level, and it is a tie of percentage at 48%, both men and women at 48%. But if you notice, the number of men has gone high from 35 to 48. Now, let's move to senior level management, and women are only 7% and men are 12%, almost half percent difference rather. So women 7%, men at 12%. This is senior level management. And finally, for entrepreneurs and business owners, it's 5% to men and 3% to women. So not very many women in the business front or are entrepreneurs. There's a 2% difference between both genders. Now, this explains how only a woman owns 1 out of every 5 international businesses. If you look at international businesses across the globe, you'll realize that only 1 woman sits at that table. 4 of the other international businesses are owned by men. And later on in the discussion, we'll talk about some of these things and the factors that hinder women or hold women back from achieving the same status as their male counterparts. Let's move on to salary. We've looked at entry level, mid, and senior. So how does the salary look like for both genders? Now, salary demographic insights reveal that women who earn under 50,000 Kenya shillings outnumber the men. So women are at 69%, men are at 63%. But you'll also remember this is mostly the entry level salary. So because women were many at entry level, 69%, men 63%. Then when it moves to 51,000 to 100,000, women at 21%, while the male counterparts are at 22%. Notice it's beginning to go high. At mid-level, we had a tie of 48, but men are a little bit higher, 22%, women at 21%. At 101,000 to 150,000, men now are 6%, and women are lagging behind by 2% at 4%. And then between 151,000 to 200,000, men are at 4% and women are at 2%, twice the number of women. So you can see even the disparity in terms of salary. You've seen at senior management, it's the men that take the lead, and even making the most money, it's men that take the lead. And moving on, as we've said, over 200,000, men stand at 5%, while women stand at 4%, still a 1% difference. And if you note that the higher the salary goes, we haven't seen a tie, or we haven't seen women making more than men, despite the fact that they are all in the same level. You understand? Okay, now, this gets interesting. Let's take a look at the number of companies that are listed in the Nairobi Securities Exchange. 62 companies. Guess the number of women that are CEOs of those companies. Only 4 women as CEOs of companies that have been listed in the Nairobi Securities Exchange. This forms the basis of our discussion tonight. How far are we with ensuring that gender equality is achieved in Kenya? What is holding us back? And what more can we do to promote equity for economic growth? After the break, Janet Mbugua will sit down and have the conversation. Keep talking to us at Metropol TVKE, at Ndoro Ganga, at Janet Mbugua, #Metropol Debrief. See you after the break.